Hello, families. Welcome to our virtual portion of Open House. We hope that this presentation is informative. There is a lot to cover, so if you have questions, feel free to bring them on Thursday night if you will be attending our in-person open house, or feel free to email or call us with any questions that you have as well. We are very fortunate to have a strong team of teachers working with our second graders this year. In addition to Ms. Lugas and myself, we have Mrs. Lloyd and Mrs. Scott, who will be instructional assistants in our classroom. Ms. Paula Sullivan will be working with students for speech and language. Ms. Caro will be working with students for occupational therapy. Mrs. Devine will be working with students. She's our ELL teacher. And we also have Mrs. Powers, who is a reading teacher, and Mrs. Sten, who is a math teacher, working with students in our classroom this year. Hi, families. I'm Heidi Aufiero, your child's second grade teacher this year. This is my 16th year teaching second grade at Chandler. I live in Duxbury with my husband and two children, Abigail, who is in fourth grade, and James, who's in second grade as well, right next door to us. I love it here in Duxbury and at Chandler School, and I'm looking forward to another great year with your students in my class. A little bit about my background. I went to St. Michael's College and got my degree in education and history. And from there, I went to Tufts University and got my master's in teaching. And then I have been at Chandler ever since. All right, I look forward to meeting you all on Thursday night or in the future. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy Lucas and I'm the special education teacher in the room. This is my 7th year working at Chandler. I actually went to Chandler when I was a kid and I went through the whole Duxbury school system. After I went to Salve Regina University where I majored in elementary education and I minored in history. Then I went on to get my master's degree at Bridgewater State University and I got it in special education. Then I went on to also get my SEI endorsement, and I just finished up my certification in Burton Gillingham reading instruction. When I'm not at school teaching, I enjoy reading and traveling and playing with my dog Ulysses. Yes, he's named after one of our presidents. I told you I liked history. I'm looking forward to a great year together. Bye.
As always, student safety is extremely important to us, especially this year as the pandemic goes on. We have some important classroom safety measures in place to keep the children safe. Desks will be 3 feet apart at least at all times. We will be cleaning desks regularly before snack and at the end of the day. The children will be washing their hands before snack and sanitizing throughout the day. Custodians will be in the classroom to sanitize high-touch areas and to clean our bathroom throughout the day. We try as much as possible to keep our windows open, weather permitting, and we do ask that students dress in layers or keep a sweatshirt here in their cubby so that we can keep the windows open as long as possible. We do eat snack in our classroom every day. At snack time, we move the students so that they are at least 6 feet apart. So students may be scattered around the classroom at tables or counters to be eating their snack. Just a reminder that we are a nut-free classroom, so please do not pack any nut products for snacks. Thank you. Students again are wearing masks in the classroom. We are aware that this is a challenge, and we do try to provide mask breaks throughout the day. Students don't wear their masks during snack or outside at our 2 recesses. We also often alternate students so that half the class will take their mask down to take a mask break, and then we'll have the other class take a mask break as well. Just a reminder that there are no water fountains working in the building right now. So students do need to bring water bottles daily, and they are able to refill their water bottles, and they can leave them on their desks and drink water throughout the day. Thank you for remembering to send those in. And if you have any other questions specifically about classroom safety and the protocols in place, we are happy to answer those on Thursday night or through emails or phone calls. We're very lucky to be back to eating lunch in the cafeteria this year. Students sit at individual desks and they are spread 6 feet apart in the cafeteria, but it definitely makes for a more normal lunch feel, and the kids are very happy to be back in there with their buddies. Students are able to buy lunch for free again this year. There's both hot and cold lunch available. I take a lunch count every morning and report to the office how many hot and cold lunches for our class. So if you could please just talk to your child about their lunch plan in the morning so that they know how to respond when we take our lunch count, that would be great. And we have 2 recesses in second grade. Our first recess is with the recess assistants, and it happens right before lunch. The kids are on the large playground, and there is no mask or distancing guideline out at recess. So the kids can run around and play as normal, which is nice for them this year. There are multiple classes out there, so they can see their other second grade friends, which is nice. We have another recess at the very end of the day on the smaller playground where Miss Lucas or I take the class out, and they can either run around. Sometimes we'll play games. Sometimes we'll do social emotional lessons out on the playground, but a nice way to end our day with a second recess. And then indoor recess happens when it is raining outside, and the students, though they do have to stay at their desks when they're in the classroom, we do have a lot of activities available to them in the classroom for indoor recess. Thanks to the PTA, we have kinetic sand and Play-Doh and drawing supplies that the kids can use. A lot of them like to draw on their whiteboards, or we have dominoes and decks of cards and lots of things that they can use at indoor recess. So they do still enjoy that time, even though they aren't moving around the room as much as they used to. Now I'd like to give you a brief overview of the curriculum we'll be using in second grade. All of this information is also in writing on the open house information sheet that I sent home to you. And there are even more resources and information on Sarah Milner's website, which is linked to the Chandler School website. This year, we'll continue to use the Envision Math program. We're lucky to have an updated version this year. So students will have their own math journals as they did last year. We will watch videos and we'll use the online Savas program that they used last year. In the classroom, we start our math lessons together as a group. We go over some review. Students get a chance to try a problem on their own, and then we go over it together. We watch a short video that has to do with the lesson for that day. We do some more practice together, and then students go off on their own to do independent work in their math journals. At that time, Ms. Lucas or I or another teacher working in the classroom may pull some of the students to small groups or work with them one-on-one to help them with that work or to work on a different skill that was particularly challenging. Or to push them on to maybe a more challenging topic than what we're working on that day. So every day that the students do a math lesson here in the classroom, we like to send their math work home so that you can see what they did. And we also will be attaching a homework page to the in-class work. It will be stapled to the back of their in-class work. That homework page is optional. It does not have to be returned to school. It's just some extra practice if you would like to do that at home with your child. Okay, and if you would like to say that Mrs. Aufiero or Ms. Lugas said they have to do it because you want to start a homework routine at your own house, that is fine as well. And it can come back to school, but it does not have to by any means come back. Homework is not going to be assigned this year, but we will be providing some optional activities to do at home. We continue to use the Foundations program to teach our phonics skills, our spelling skills this year. So students will learn new sounds. They'll put those sounds together in words. We practice in a variety of ways in the classroom. We use magnet boards where the students have letters and sound cards on magnet tiles and they build words. They use whiteboards to write words. We tap out sounds with our fingers. It's a very interactive spelling program. At the end of a Foundations unit, we do give unit assessments on the skills that we've been working on. You'll see those unit assessments come home in a couple weeks. There is a grading page on the back of the assessment where we grade the student on the sounds, on words, on their trick words, and on applying skills in sentences. We also will be grading them on their conventions in their sentences, such as capitals and punctuation. And you'll be seeing those come home soon. And we can talk more about those at conferences if you have questions on specific unit assessments that are coming home. I also like to send home a beginning of unit overview at the beginning of a new unit. Those actually went home on Tuesday. So that letter outlined the skills the kids will be learning in Unit 1, and it gives you some examples of the language that we use and some words that we'll be learning. And I also like to attach some practice that the kids can do at home. Again, this is completely optional homework, but there's a dictation section on the back of that letter where parents can ask students to spell words. And I also attach some special Foundations paper that resembles the assessment as well. So that the kids can do some additional practice at home if you would like. For reading comprehension, we use the Making Meaning program, which focuses on teaching students different strategies they use when they're reading, such as going back and rereading a page if they didn't understand something, identifying characters, traits, and the point of view of the story. We get into some really strong reading strategies this year in second grade, and you'll notice the kids coming home with some new language that they might use as they're reading with you at night. In writing, we really work with second graders on forming a paragraph, but really starting at a sentence level and making sure that they are able to expand sentences, write with strong word choice and detail. We do a lot with conventions, capitals, periods. We like second graders to become self-editors. This year, we use editing checklists in the classroom to help them go back and check over their work. We work on genre writing in second grade. Students will be writing opinion pieces, expository pieces, and narrative pieces. And I always am amazed at the progress that second graders make with their writing throughout the year. They will work in a journal in the classroom, writing about their weekend or vacations or activities that they do. And it's really amazing to see those journals come home at the end of the year, to think of where they were as writers in the fall versus in the spring. So hopefully you'll enjoy reading those when they come home. We're very lucky to have some great technology in our classroom. We do a lot with the projector and having students follow along with something up on the board. We can watch videos, we can watch YouTube stories. It's great to have that technology. We also have a sound field in our classroom. I wear a microphone so that I can project my voice all around the classroom. It's very helpful with the masks so the students can hear me clearly. We also have Chromebooks in our classroom. Each student will be assigned a Chromebook to use in school this year for different assignments. Just like last year, they'll have a Clever account and they can log into their Clever account in the classroom and access all of our online programs, very similar to what we had last year. Some programs you might hear the students talking about are Lexia or Reading A to Z or Savas, but they'll be very excited when they get to use their Chromebooks. We'll probably start with them at the end of this week and definitely use them next week when we start our iReady, which is a math program that the kids will use on their Chromebooks. Again, I know that's a lot of quick information on the curriculum, but I did put more detail on the open house information sheet. And again, see Sarah Milner's page for very specific curriculum information. So now the best part of the presentation is where I tell you about a day in the life of your second grader. So I will try to make a little snapshot for you of what their day would look and feel like in second grade. So students arrive in the morning, they come into the classroom. We have a very specific morning routine where they unpack their bags, they look in their green folder to see if there are any notes from home, and the students read the board, which will tell them what to do for their morning work. Morning work is usually a review of something we've previously learned, or it may be catching up on something that they didn't finish the day before. As students are arriving and working on their morning work, we take our lunch count and we do attendance and we check in with each student as they arrive. After students have finished their morning work, we move on to a morning meeting, which is one of my favorite parts of the day. We go around the classroom and we greet each student. We do some sort of fun, used to be a handshake, but we do some sort of fun hand signal for the greeting, like an air high five, or we throw a baseball to each other, something fun to start our day. We go over the calendar and the schedule for the day. One of the classroom jobs is to be the calendar helper, so somebody can come up and help me talk about the date and the weather and what the day will be like. In morning meeting, we often will play a fun icebreaker game. We'll sometimes do some yoga or a movement break like a Go Noodle, just to get us ready for the day. And it helps the kids be more engaged if they do a little yoga or moving in the morning before we start our literacy instruction. So in the morning when we do our literacy instruction, it is usually a teacher doing a mini lesson about a reading strategy that we're learning, and oftentimes we'll model for the students what that would look like or sound like while we read a mentor text or a picture book, usually that goes along with a certain skill. Oftentimes we will make anchor charts or posters together that will hang up in the classroom to help the kids remember the reading strategies that we learned about. And then we take a little break for snack. Sometimes during snack, I'll continue reading, or I may read from a chapter book. And then we'll get back to work with our literacy practice, which will be working on some written tasks that go along with a certain literacy skill, or it may be practicing a certain strategy in the kids' independent reading books. During this time, we'll also have IDR time, which the kids did in first grade, independent daily reading. We have book bags for each student in the classroom. The book bags are a mix of books that a teacher has put into their bag that are at their reading level, or they also have a chance to go to our classroom library and pick out some books from there to keep in their book bag as well. Students are also able to bring in books from home if they would like to put in their book bag for independent reading time. During that time, a teacher may be pulling kids into small groups to work on particular skills or strategies. We also like to circulate the room and check in with students as they're reading their individual books and ask them comprehension questions, sometimes ask them to read out loud or practice their fluency. Or we may have them doing a entirely separate word work or spelling practice activity at a center with us. It's really differentiated during this time of day. After our literacy practice, 10:45 every day, we have a special, which is a nice break for the students. All specials are in the special area classrooms this year, which is great for them to get out of our classroom and be in a different space. We have PE on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so please remember to have the students wear sneakers on those days. They do go outside as much as possible for PE. When they come back from their special, we work on our spelling practice using our Foundations program. And then we go to recess and then lunch. After lunch, we come in for math. Like I already said on the curriculum slide, we start out as a whole group. We practice a skill together, usually watch a video about that skill, and then do some more practice together, and then the students are released to go off onto their own to do some independent practice or work in a small group. We always finish our independent practice and move on to a math extra. When the kids are done, they may work with a partner to practice their math facts. Learning addition and subtraction math facts up to 20 is a huge goal for second grade. Students are expected to know all of their facts in 4 seconds or less, and we do assess this 3 times a year to make sure they're making progress towards those goals. So I strongly encourage students to practice their math facts at home as much as possible. We really want those to become automatic this year. It helps when they get into multiplication and division next year in third grade if they know their addition and subtraction math facts really solidly. At the end of the day, we have a writing lesson and then move on to a social studies or science lesson, depending on the unit that we're on. I know I didn't talk a lot about social studies and science in the curriculum slide, but it is in writing and on Mrs. Milner's website. There are a lot of fun, interesting topics that we learn in second grade in science and social studies. We like to keep these really hands-on. We like to use videos, experiments, and make it as fun as possible. Some topics we'll learn about are earth science. We'll learn about the states of matter. We'll learn about animal habitats and the interdependence of animals and plants and their surroundings. In social studies, we'll learn math skills and economics, and kids really enjoy that part of the day. And then we finish each day with our dragon recess, where we go outside and release all of that energy that we had built up from our day. And it's a nice way to kind of wrap up the day together. And then we come back into the classroom and we do our pack up and our classroom jobs, and we get ready to listen for the pickups and the buses to go home. And time flies when we're having fun, and our days go by quickly. Thank you for watching the presentation. We know it's a lot of information, so please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns. Have a great day. Bye.